Hello once again, witchy people. I will try not to have a fit of the giggles like I just have trying to record this the first time round. So, which is rather appropriate because giggling and playfulness and fun is what the otter is all about, and this video is all about the otter. Now, I'm not just talking sort of like the spiritual and the magical side of the otter, but also the mystical as well, and how it's perceived, or how I perceive it. So, and I do have notes down here, so this is why the glasses are on, because over the past 2-3 months, blind as a bat without them, for reading anyway. So, we know that magically the otter represents the child within, its playfulness and frolicking around. It is the child, its inquisitiveness as well. It's all those lovely playful things. So curiosity, laughter, friendship and sharing. And it's a huge signification, is that a word? It signifies hugely that life is too short to spend time worrying. Okay, so historically, and this is really actually quite horrible, the reason why otter fur was so rare and so expensive actually boiled down to the fact that they were incredibly hard to skin. So the fur was prized by many, but especially the Vikings, which I think is quite amazing. The Vikings spend so much time exploring, travelling over water to explore, and they have this affinity with otters, which are, when you think of a Viking and the personality of a Viking and the personality of an otter, you don't think of them as akin to each other at all. Vikings aren't considered playful, but they are curious, and like I said, they have this almost affinity with the water. I think it's quite strange as well that although otters are considered to be a water creature, so they are associated with water magically, they also have a lot of the element of earth about them, and I think this is a lot due to that they make their dens in riverbanks in mud, and they don't make their dens, let's face it, they steal dens. They borrow other animals' lairs and dens and hidey holes and homes. They find abandoned. They don't build their own dens. Otters do not. They find abandoned and empty dens that other animals have built and use them. That's just what they do, and that kind of signifies that it's taking knowledge from other people, but only if they're willing to share. Now, obviously, if there was an animal already in residence, an otter couldn't take away that home. So, the other thing that is quite interesting about otters is, unlike most wild creatures who use their scent and their feces to mark their home and their territories, otters will not poop where they live. They just can't, and magically you can take this as a warning that you don't poop on your own doorstep. Don't cause trouble for yourself on your doorstep. It's a warning. Now, this interest in otters, I've always been interested in otters right from when I was a very, very small child. But my interest was piqued because a grave was found. Now, this isn't in America, because I know there's been one found in America. This was in England, or the United Kingdom, and I saw it on a TV programme that I had recorded. I watched it, deleted it, cannot re-find this programme at all. But a Viking, what they assumed was a warrior because of what was buried with this body, was unearthed. Same as in America as well. it happened in America. And they discovered that this warrior was in fact not a male as assumed, but a woman. It was a female warrior, and there was lots included in the grave goods, but one of the things was an otter pelt. And this was hugely significant because otters were considered incredibly special. But it was this program that really piqued my interest again and got me sort of researching more into how others perceive otters spiritually, mystically. But because otters they spend a lot of their time in the water, but they are also land creatures, they represented almost like a connection between two worlds. So they represented a connection between our world and the world of the dead. Like I said, the Vikings and the Victorians, funnily enough, really thought of otter fur as being the most prized thing. The Victorians because it was an expensive thing. The Vikings because of its association with this mystical creature, this walker of worlds, if you like, you know, this creature that could traverse between two worlds, the world of land and the world of water, and that represented to them the world of the living and the world of the dead. Water is very much associated with death, like the river Styx and such, like in a lot of ancient cultures and ancient history. So the otter really symbolise this ability to wander between two worlds with its ability for water and land. And this is partly why it was so prized by the Vikings and other cultures. The Celts, ancient Celts, also were very not just enamoured, but they knew the otter was special. Something else that otters can do, which is quite special, is sleep on water. They can float on their backs and sleep, just floating along. And this was taken as a sign, some people believe, and certainly myself as well, that you have to learn to float above the turbulence. You have to learn to rise above it. You know, all that turbulent water underneath, all those currents that can sweep you, you have to learn to rise above that and float above it and just relax above it and make your own way. Also, quite often, whilst they are floating along on their backs, otters will hold hands, usually with family members or really close members of their community. So you quite often see them, almost, it looks like they're holding hands. They tether themselves to each other, which is also another huge significance, in that you have to tether yourself in some way when you are in another world. So if you go into another realm, into another world, you have to tether yourself to reality. You have to tether yourself to your world, your living being, soul, being, spirit, if you like. So you can take this almost as a magical warning that wherever you travel to, you must keep yourself tethered. It's a sign that you really do have to keep safe. So there we go. The otter, it is a magical creature anyway. I think it's a magical creature to me. So they represent curiosity, childlike curiosity, not just poke your nose in curiosity, but a childlike curiosity. They represent playfulness and the child that resides within us all. But also some really stark warnings that these creatures that traverse between two worlds know how to keep themselves tethered to the real world. family and friends and, you know, their own home. In a nutshell, the otter's adaptability and sleekness in water as well as on land made it a magical, mystical creature to many. Like I said, from ancient Celts, ancient Vikings, to the Victorians, and for many of us today who find them utterly fascinating creatures. So I'm going to leave it there, and thank you for watching, witchy people. I'll be back very, very soon. Bye for now.